Hi everyone, I'm delighted to have Marion here, who is going to do a class on PD Warrior. I know Marion well because she was one of the first people I met when I was diagnosed, and was an extremely positive influence for me in terms of not letting Parkinson's, take over. So besides doing an assessment with me, Marion also introduced me to PD Warrior. Marion is an OT, an occupational therapist, and she runs the personal health clinic in Rathmines, where they do physiotherapy, and also they have access to dietetic services and I think speech and language as well, for people with chronic disease, including neurological conditions. So I've been doing Marion's PD Warrior face-to-face class for a number of years, obviously until COVID hit, and have been doing online sessions with her as well. So it translates very well online. Obviously, we like to do it offline, but at the moment she's offering the classes to many people around the country, and that's the silver lining of COVID. So Marion also is trained in LSVT Big, which is another program for Parkinson's as well. And I'll, without further ado, hand over to Marion to bring you through a little taster and explanation of what PD Warrior and why exercise is so important for all of us. Thanks, Marion, for joining us.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. That was great. I don't need to say much about myself after that. So I suppose, thanks everybody. My name is Marion. I'm doing, in particular, PD Warrior, talking about PD Warrior today. I suppose I want to give you the background on PD Warrior and generally specific exercise for Parkinson's. So Rochelle has already given you my background, but I did want to mention it. PD Warrior really is mainly done by either physios or occupational therapists. And I suppose just to give you the background as to where I came across PD Warrior and those kind of specific programs, I am an occupational therapist. Like many people with the recession and whatnot, I ended up packing my bags and working in the NHS for a number of years. And from there, in England, of course, and from there I moved on to Australia. And I was really lucky to work in a private rehab hospital. And the reason I wanted to mention that is that actually rehab and exercise and treatment for Parkinson's is actually quite different in different countries, I suppose. And for me, getting a chance to work in Australia, where rehab for Parkinson's, even while I was there, it was so developed that, again, I want to share that with you. So I suppose I feel that in Ireland, in some sense, you either need to be really, really well or very unwell. And if you're somewhere in the middle, which is where I see most people with Parkinson's, in that you don't necessarily need to be in a hospital, but you don't need to sit at home and not have any intervention. So I suppose the rehab part, kind of in the middle, kind of rehab or prehab, so preventing things getting more difficult, is where I see Warrior really fits in so well. Now, I do work with people from either early diagnosis and right up to maybe, Parkinson's for 20 years, and it can be beneficial for anybody. But I suppose that's where that's what we do, or that's what I do here, is that kind of middle bit in particular. And that is where, unfortunately, with the HSE at times, it can be difficult for them to provide that service. But essentially with Parkinson's, you should be working, doing your specific exercise absolutely every single week. So the specific programs I've done, I suppose the first one I did was LSVT Big. I'm not sure if you've heard about it, but it's probably one of the first programs that was a specific, or developed specifically for people with Parkinson's, mainly focusing on your movement. So again, going for big movements to counteract the small. So in a nutshell, the program basically, it's really intensive, really high effort. Okay. And I suppose when I first did that program, again, just to give you the background, when I first did that program, at that time, working with people, I would have worked very gently with people. So I would say, maybe do another one of those. Like if I would say, for example, getting somebody to practice standing up from a chair, I'd say, maybe go for another one. Whereas from that program, I learned actually the softly approach is absolutely not the way to go. It's all about pushing yourself and actually asking for more and pushing the people that I would see more. So around the hospital, again, that program, when I first did it in Australia, and a number of us therapists did it, when we first did it and started using the program, I would get called all sorts of things like sergeant major, and I think I was called an occupational terrorist at one stage. I think that was the most imaginative I'd heard. But again, that's the kind of exercise you need, where you are sweating, you're being pushed to your limit. So that's all quite new. So LSVT Big was my first introduction to that. And then PD Warrior came along, loved the idea of Big, but said, we can actually go even another step further. And I absolutely love their program, and every person I see who goes through it really does improve. So I'll talk through the specifics of it, but essentially PD Warriors from Australia. So while I was over there, I trained in the program. I got to work in I suppose visit the center that they run it in, and just see how beneficial it is. So I suppose looking at the history of Parkinson's therapy, going back over the years, so we're not going to dwell on the past, but essentially almost kind of up to the 2000s, medication was the big intervention. And I, even from meeting people who are have had Parkinson's for 20, 30 years, they would have said that even at the beginning, when they were initially diagnosed, they were even told not to exercise, to kind of rest up, take your medication and kind of rest up, which is absolutely the worst thing you could do. So I suppose here in the kind of 2000s, exercise was starting to be talked about, but it's really kind of 2010 onwards, we've started to hear about neuroplasticity. Has anyone heard of the word neuroplasticity? Show of hands, anybody? Yeah, couple of nodding heads, which is unbelievable. And unfortunately, I think even in rehab, not everyone is on that kind of neuroplasticity mindset or thinking that way. But basically, more and more, and luckily in the area of Parkinson's, there's so much research being done. But essentially, it means that where people thought that before, that if there was, let's say, damage or degeneration in your brain, that you couldn't essentially make up for that challenge. Whereas now we know that through specific exercise, so through specific exercise that is really challenging, you can in fact change your brain. And essentially everything comes from our brain. Our movement, our thinking, our swallowing, our breathing, absolutely everything comes from our brain, and it can improve, it can change, but it's got to be specific, challenging exercise. So I suppose that's what's new, that is what's different. And again, not everybody is quite on the same page, but that's why for me, I'm so excited about PD Warrior, because it is still relatively new. I've actually been working with kind of LSVT Big, PD Warrior really over the last 10 years. So I've been lucky to have lots of experience in it and see the benefits. But essentially, I'm pushing for everybody. And I do think now that neurologists are definitely starting to see people who are benefiting from exercise. And certainly I have started to get so many more referrals from neurologists who are, they're literally having people come in and them say, what is it that you're doing? Because people are looking so good. And in my first few years when I came back from Australia and I was working here, and it had happened, I don't know how many times people were saying to me that when they were coming to the weekly classes and they'd go for their consultant review, their neurologist review, let's say a year on. So we would have worked together for about a year, and the consultant would say, oh, you're looking good. Like, what is it you're doing? And they'd say, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing PD Warrior and, grand. And they'd say, okay, stick with it. And then the following year they would go back again. And again, the neurologist would say, hold up, sorry, what is it that you're doing? Where is it? And what is it exactly? Because again, and multiple different neurologists had said they were surprised that they didn't need to increase the person's medication. So again, PD Warrior does help you to manage your symptoms, improve on your symptoms, or improve your everyday functioning, and therefore, push back on potentially needing more medication. And that's something really practical that I could see happen quite a lot over the last few years. So again, what's changing? Our principles, how we work with people with Parkinson's. So if you're not sweating in your exercise sessions, if you're not out of breath, if you're not really feeling like you can't do any more, then you're not working hard enough. And again, we're getting there. I know there's a lot of people who do exercise, and we're starting to push from all directions, but certainly PD Warrior, that's what we do. So again, we're thinking exercise is part of your long-term program. So really, we need you to see your exercise as important as taking your medication, so that every day you take your medication and you take your exercise, okay? But not just any exercise. So we're going to do an example later on. So I suppose, again, in summary, PD Warrior, it is not just an exercise program. There is obviously education in it. It's a lovely group kind of support team if you want it. Of course, you can do the program individually, but it's a lifestyle model. So again, we talk about, you know, where are you going to exercise? How are you going to exercise? How are you going to bring it into your life? What did you do this week? What are you going to do for next week? So we're looking at your whole kind of lifestyle, not just your one-off class. It is Parkinson specific. And again, if you look at the little chart or the diagram on the side, you'll see that it is based on clinical research. I'm not going massively into it today, but if you can trust me when I say that the more specific the exercise that you do, the better. So with PD Warrior, we're looking at all of the things that we know are typically difficult. So it might be your movements have gotten smaller, or it might be your hand movements are more tricky, or maybe your trunk rotation is difficult for turning in bed and things like that. So we look at the specifics and we target those with high effort, high intensive exercise. Now, you don't have to be scared. When I say high effort and high intensity exercise, we grade it. So for some people, you know, like a gentleman this week who is super unfit and would admit it, hasn't exercised ever. You know, for him doing, you know, 10 big stand-ups from the chair, so big effort stand-ups from the chair, cost him a lot. You know, that was maybe 10 minutes out of our session. Whereas for somebody else, you know, it might be 30 minutes of 2-minute reps on jumping jacks, squats, lunges, a plank, all those kinds of exercises. That is their max. So we go with what is your max, what's, you know, how can we push your effort. Again, with PD Warrior, based on the research, we know that your exercise needs to be frequent. So that's why with the program, we always start with individual sessions first, so that you can learn the program, learn what it's all about, and the home exercises, so that you have exercises to do at home and then in either the group or again individual sessions. Every movement has to be powerful. So again, even if I just show you here on the kind of effort and power type of question, if I open my hands out just like that, I'm going to say that's kind of like my 2 out of 10 effort. Okay, not very powerful. If I open them like that, I'm putting in way more effort, way more power. So even as you just sit there, just so we're all engaged, if everyone just brings their hands up in front of their face, so just do a gentle stretch. Okay, that's your 2 out of 10 effort. And now do a big powerful stretch. That's it. Stretch your fingers wider. So I want everyone to try and match my fingers on the screen. So stretch, stretch, stretch your hands. Okay, and again, go back to a gentle one. So just gentle. That's it. And then your big power effort. Okay, can you feel the difference? Okay, if not, we'll work on it. That's just a tiny introduction, but essentially with all of our body movements, when we do our classes, where you might start off like that effort or at that kind of size of movement, we push you to be extra big and powerful. Again, all the exercises are complex and challenging. Now, again, when I say complex, it's, you know, we grade it. So for example, maybe doing your arms and legs at the same time is a challenge, or we might throw in a thinking challenge at the same time. And again, all the part of the program is geared towards your goals and being meaningful to you. So again, we look at the specific things that you need to work on, and then we make it fun. So there is fun involved as well. This is just the serious bit. So PD Warrior launched in Australia in 2012, and by 2 neurophysiotherapists with a special interest in Parkinson's and over 15 years of experience in Parkinson's. And again, basing it off all the newest research. They're constantly updating the program, constantly teaching us more. In fact, on that one, there is an online conference that has been recorded that also is going to be shown throughout the year. It's called Insight into PD. So I will send on a link, or via Kieran, I think, who's organized this today. But you have a 30-day free access to that conference. So again, they're always looking at the newest research and kind of pushing the boundaries as to what we do. So PD Warrior is in 7 countries, and in Ireland at the moment, we're the only clinic who are running it. So you do have to become a licensee, again, just to keep the standards high, and we have to I suppose, meet those standards and keep on learning and keep on top of the research. So that's why at the moment it's just us, but I'm hoping that other people will come on board. So again, why do we need to exercise? So why do we need to do this really intensive exercise? So even at the start, or I suppose to start with, even at the beginning, or even when you're newly diagnosed, it has been proven that people actually are moving much less, making much smaller movements. So whether that is that you are maybe slower on your walk, or you've kind of pulled back on the distance that you normally do on your walk, it might be that standing up and down from a chair is a little bit slower, or maybe brushing teeth again has gotten smaller and that bit more difficult. Again, turning in bed is one that tends to come up quite a lot. So there might be small things, but again, you've got to work on them. So even in the early stages of Parkinson's, you start to modify your life. So we don't ever want you to modify your life to suit Parkinson's. We want you to fight back and learn how to overcome those challenges with Parkinson's. So again, a lot of our sessions would be like big practical exercises, but also the more functional tasks, let's say standing up and down from a chair, getting up and down from the floor, getting in and out of bed, and all those practical things. So that's what's different, basically, or I suppose what is the most different thing about PD Warrior? We are targeting the specifics that tend to come up for Parkinson's. It is also run by physios and OTs, and I particularly run the groups, or the group classes, with a small number. So I would probably only have kind of max 8 to 10 people in a group, so that basically I can watch you on the screen and tell you where you can improve on and push you. Because we know, again, research says that if you go at your normal effort, okay, like with your hands, if you go at your normal effort, you're actually not getting much benefit from that. You've got to be at that big, forced, powerful effort for things to change. So that's why I keep the classes small. And again, we can monitor your effort. Okay, so if you come onto a class, and this applies to any class that you do or any exercise that you do, if you can keep going all day, you know, if you can chat while you're doing your exercise, you're just not working hard enough. Okay, and that's why with Warrior, we do chat and we have fun too, but we do work hard, because that is much better for you than just a nice social kind of casual exercise class. So again, our focus is big. We're looking at forced use of our arms, our legs. We're doing all sorts of exercise, again, for specific areas that we know are that bit more difficult. So whether that is your coordination, your balance, you know, your general everyday movements, that's what we're targeting. So again, it has been proven that basically all your everyday tasks can improve. Your balance, your walking, your flexibility, your falls risk can reduce. So there's huge benefit to exercise. The list is far more extensive than what I even have there. So how do you get started with PD Warrior? Essentially, it is set up as a 10-week challenge. Okay, so first off, the best thing is to get set up, because they do actually have an online version from Australia. So you can always link in with Australia if you like. But if you wanted to do it here in Ireland, you would attend a licensed facility. So that's us here. And you can do that either online or in person. We are open. You are able to come into the clinic. We would do an initial assessment. So again, it's all about you. Where are you up to? What are the problems you're having? What are your specific goals? Then we would do a couple of follow-up sessions. So we'll train you up on what it's all about, learning the home exercises, getting you set up for doing your PD Warrior every day for your 10 weeks. And then from there, you can either do one-on-one sessions. So some people go ahead with just one-on-one, or you can do a group class. Okay, then at the end of the 10 weeks, we do a reassessment. So it's very specific. And again, after those 10 weeks, most people actually continue on. So I think of all people that I see, I would say 9 out of 10 people just continue on those weekly classes, but it's initially set up for those 10 weeks. So there's an example of, you know, you don't have to read it exactly, but there's just kind of 3 pages of assessment that we go through. Okay, so again, it's walking, it's balance, it's fine motor dexterity, it's strength. So you're assessed in all those areas, and we target the specific things you want to improve on. So a big part of today, and again, even if you can take away some of this from today, but to talk through the real nuts and bolts of Warrior is your effort. It's the biggest part, literally the biggest part of the program. So you'll see on there our RPE scale. Okay, so you're looking at where your efforts are. So like we just did there, our 2 out of 10 or our 20% was I'm doing the exercise with insignificant effort. No offense to anybody, okay? But that's your Parkinson. So that's where, you know, with that lack of dopamine, your movements, they just don't quite have the fuel to go at a normal kind of size. When I say normal, there's no such thing as normal, but I mean, they're just scaled down, they're smaller, okay? So that's I say your normal effort is about your 20%, okay? And that's why when we were pushing hard, hopefully we were getting up towards that 80%. So you're powerful, you're feisty, and you're moving like a warrior. So that's, again, just an idea of the efforts that are required. So again, it's not easy to hit that 80%. And again, in most of your exercise, possibly you're not hitting 80%. Because again, it's not the target, it's not the focus of other sessions. So sometimes if you're in the gym or in a class, it might be do 20 of those squats, as opposed to with Warrior, we're saying do 5, but really well at your 80%. So that's what's different. Okay, so again, the gains you can make from Warrior, just overall improving your everyday. It helps you move better, think better, look better in your posture, in your facial expression. It helps to build your confidence. Again, you fight back, you feel better when you achieve your goals. And again, I've never met anyone on the program who hasn't improved in some way. So again, it is a program to consider. When you get set up, there is an app, so you can even download the app at home. There's a PD Warrior free app online. I would give you a workbook. There's an online Facebook group. And again, have a look at the website. You'll see it's just a huge resource. And there we go. So if after the class or the session, once we get going, you would like to join PD Warrior or try PD Warrior, you would just give us a call at Personal Health in Rathmines, and you would do an assessment with me, and actually the Dublin branch of Parkinson's Ireland would kindly pay for that initial assessment. So you can come in for that initial assessment for free, there's no cost, and then we can get you set up from there. So that kind of was all of my quick presentation. So I think we'll jump into getting moving next. And look, for today, I suppose, because normally, as I said, I only have a very small group and I know everyone. I will have gone through reams of assessments with everyone, so I know exactly how you move and how good your balance is and all those things. But obviously today I don't know that. So I'm leaving it up to you to use your good judgment, okay? So that if you see me on my feet and you say, no, I don't think that's going to work for me, that maybe you stay seated to do the exercises, or at least if you're standing, you have a chair beside you. So I'm going to take it that everybody is aware of how good their mobility is or where their challenges are. But otherwise, today we're actually going to do a powerful warm-up. Okay, you'll be surprised at how much effort it takes, but we're going to do a warm-up, and then I'm only going to choose 2 of the actual PD Warrior core exercises, but you'll get a feel for it, okay? And again, generally, the more intense, the better, but again, since you haven't done this before, we'll let you go at your own pace. Okay, so then let's get going. So as I said, if you feel that your balance is a little bit tricky, or that your mobility hasn't been so good, or even if the morning hasn't been so good for you, please just do sit to do the exercises. But otherwise, at the very least, you would have a chair beside you as well. Okay, so to start, we're going to start with our big posture. So again, I've touched on the idea that PD Warrior is about big. So to the opposite of big, of course, is small. And one of the things in particular that we see tends to get that bit smaller is our posture. Okay, so you'll see the kind of rounded shoulders, smaller posture. Okay, so the opposite of small is big. Okay, so I want everybody to start with their big posture. Okay, so again, if your shoulders are a little bit rounding, you're standing tall. Okay, so big posture, shoulders right back. Okay, and then feet about just hip width apart and your chair beside you. Okay, let's get going. So we're going to roll our shoulders up and back. Okay, now again, with Warrior, one huge big focus we have is that our right and left are equal. Okay, so for most people, you will find that one side has that bit more challenge, okay? So that you might feel like one side is a bit weaker or it doesn't move as well. But we know we can get it to move better, only we just have to put more effort in and tell it to move bigger, okay? And now we're swimming forward, okay? I want great big movements, so stretch out those arms, reaching out in front, okay? So you're as if you're swimming in the Irish Sea, or somewhere warmer might be better. Okay, so great big circles. That's it. Okay, and then next up we're going to do wide circles. You're going to bend your knees, mini squat, and then up into big wide circles up above your head, pushing down the middle. Okay, so reaching up to the ceiling. Okay, and then pushing down the middle. That's it. A big reach to the side, stretching up to the ceiling, and then pushing down the middle. That's it. Go for 3 more big ones. That's it. Again, pushing your right and left to be equal. That's it. Stretching all the way up, pushing down the middle, and then last one. Lovely. Okay. Then next up, we're going to bring our hands onto our hips. Now again, if your balance is challenged, just hold on one side, okay? Or you can bring your chair out in front. Okay, so for this one, you're going to pick up your heel and you're going to do a nice slow swivel to the side. Okay? And then slowly back to the middle. And other side again. Keep your big posture. Keep looking out, lift your chest. That's it. And then same on the other side. That's it, hands on your hips, lift your chest. Okay, and other side. That's it. And then back to the middle. Okay, lovely. Then next up, you're going to step one foot out in front. Okay, so maybe if we all do our right foot, I'm going upside down to you. So one foot out in front, you're going to pull your toes up in front, pull your heel up behind. So toes up in front and heel behind. So you're going to rock between your 2 feet. Okay, so I'll just show you from the side. Okay, so rocking between your 2 feet. Okay, and then we're going to add in the arms. So again, that movement actually is really important for your walking. Okay, and you might find that one side is a little bit more tricky. So again, on that side, you want to really ramp up your efforts. Okay, then we're going to add in the arms. Okay, so you're going to stretch out your arms. That's it, I'll show you from the side. So big, strong arms. Okay, so remember our 2 out of 10 effort from before, and now we're aiming for our 80%, or 60 to 80%. So you're stretching wide on the arms. That's it. We're going to go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. And now swap over feet. Okay, same thing on the other side. So again, lifting your toes up in front, lifting your heel back behind. So again, rocking between your 2 feet and reaching your arms, stretching wide. Okay, so we really want to see those arms back behind you as well. So that is something that we tend to lose with Parkinson's. Okay, so our movements on our arms, of course, become smaller as we walk. So you might even find that your arms drop at your sides. Okay, and again, we want to work on that. So you're pushing back your arms. That's it. We need those arms for balance when we're walking. So really push back for 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Okay, good work. Okay, next up, again, thinking big and thinking bigger. Okay, I'll just show you from the side. We're going to do some high knee lifts. Okay, so just to watch, I just want everyone to have a check. If you start to lift your knees up in front, okay, have a look down and see, are they both equal? Are your right and left equal? So again, this is something, as I said, we do look at in PD Warrior, that you're not moving lovely and big on one side and small on the other. Okay, so watch those knees and check, are they up as high as your hips? Okay, so I want you marching with your knees up as high as your hips. So just check it. Are you having to put more effort in on one side? Okay, that's it. Looking good, everybody. Well done. Okay, so knees up. Again, nice and powerful. Hold on if you need to. Okay, looking good. Now, if that is super easy, okay, then you're going to bring your elbow to the opposite knee. Okay, so just check. Again, be careful on your balance. Keep those knees up as high as your hips. Do not let them drop. Okay, remember we're on quality control. No small movements, all big. That's it, go for 3, 2, and 1. Lovely, good work. Whew, we're getting warm, okay? Next up, we're going to do some big marching on the spot. Okay, so knees up and arms going. Okay, so on the spot, knees up, arms going. Okay, we're going to change the arms into hands into your chest. Okay, then we're going to push them out, pull back in, push out, pull in. Okay, how is that for you? Can you keep your legs going at the same time? Okay, so here's a dual task for you to do. That's it, keep pushing out, pulling in. That's it, we're going to go for 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely, good work. Okay, just to let us get our breath back, we're going to do a nice balance exercise. Okay, so you're going to stand tall with your big posture. We're going to lift one knee in the air. So start by holding on, okay? Especially if you haven't done this one before. So you're going to lift your knee up in the air, okay? If that's easy, so you're holding on and you go, that's way too easy, you can bring your hands onto your hips, okay? And if that's too easy, then you're going to punch forward, slowly out in front. So slowly, slowly, okay? Arms as high as your shoulders, okay? So keep holding. You're reaching out as high as your shoulders. That's it, nice and slowly with one knee in the air. Good work. That's it, go for 2 more punches, well done. And 1, lovely. Okay, swap legs. Whew. Other side. That's it, and same thing, punching forward. That's it. Stretching out in front. That's it, keep it going. We're going to go for 5 more. Standing tall. That's it. And 3, 2, and 1. Lovely, good work everybody. Okay, next up we're going to stand with our feet absolutely stuck together. Okay, so feet stuck together. Again, hold on to start. If that's easy, you're going to bring your hands across your chest. Okay, big posture all the time, big posture. Okay, and you're going to close your eyes. Okay, so again, please be wary or aware of where your chair is, but you're going to close your eyes. Okay, hold it there. And while you're there, I'm going to add in another task. I want you to name words beginning with the letter A. So A for ant, arrive, after. Okay, so you're naming words beginning with the letter A, nice and loud. Okay, so naming words beginning with the letter A. And again, you've got your arms across your chest and your eyes closed. That's it. Good work, everybody. Keep holding. That's it. Okay, great. And then you can open your eyes. Lovely. Okay, next up, you're standing with your feet just hip width apart. Okay, you're going to step 1 foot back. Okay, you're going to bend your front knee. We're going to lift our arms up in front. Okay, so we're going to do some boxing. We're going to stretch forward, right and left. Now, if you look at me, I'm moving my whole upper body. Okay, so I'm not just doing arms. Okay, that's an easy effort. That's 0. Okay, so you want to stretch, stretch, stretch. So you are your own quality controller. Okay, so you've got, if you can see me there, I don't want to see this. Okay, this is a small 2 out of 10 effort. I want to see you stretch, 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 and then put some power into those punches. Okay, so we're going to go for 10 power punches. Okay, let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, good work. Take a quick breather. Whew. And then you can swap over legs. Okay, so on that note, again, do grab drinks of water in between, or if you do need a quick break, that's no problem. Okay, but as I just showed you there, and again, maybe in other classes, you might be able to use these principles, but again, you're never just doing your normal effort. Okay, you're never just going at your effort. You're always pushing yourself and pushing yourself and stretching yourself. Okay, and it's that last little bit of the stretch is the best bit. Okay, so it's not just good enough to go at your own pace. Okay, you've got to be stretching yourself. Okay, let's go for another 10. Okay, hands up, bend that knee in front, and let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Good work, everybody. Looking good. You've done some of this before. Okay, take a breather, have a quick drink. So these are all part of my warm-up. So that's why I said today you're just getting a very brief introduction. Okay, we'll do a nice balanced one. Again, let us get our breath back. So you're going to stand with 1 foot directly in front of the other. Okay, so if you watch me, I think you can see me okay. You're going to stand with your heel touching your toe in front. Okay, so start by holding on. Again, big posture every time, big posture. Okay, so start by holding on. If you think you can do without the chair, go for it. Okay, as I said, you're in charge. You're on quality control, but also safety control. Okay, now while you're there, okay, I want you to name for each letter of your name, your full name. I want you to name either a town, a village, or a county. Okay, so a town, a village, a county, beginning with each letter of your name. Okay, so I'm going to go Meath, Athlone, Riverstown, Ina, Nina. Okay, so you're naming, keep naming. Okay, now if that's easy, you're going to keep on naming, but I want you to bring your finger, your pointy finger, to your nose. Okay, so you're doing 3 things. You're balancing, okay, you're naming, And you're also moving your arms to your nose, your fingers to your nose. Okay, so that is a neuroplasticity principled exercise. Okay, so there you are, you're challenging your balance, you're multitasking, okay, and you're thinking big at the same time, so don't forget your big posture. Okay, so that is an example of the layers we put on exercises in Warrior. Okay, so it's not just easy, sit back and relax. Okay, go for 2 more each side. That's it. Okay, and then last one. Lovely. Okay, I'm thinking we might just take a mini break there. So kind of a minute's break. Kieran, you might give me a shout there. How are you doing? Everybody doing okay? And I know you've been involved in other exercise classes over the week here, and on the effort scale, I'm thinking if we do maybe a minute's rest, how are you feeling? You reckon we're ready, able for more?
Well, I'm conscious it's 10 to 12 or 10 to 12. So yeah, you can start the warm down part at this stage, and then we'll now open for a couple of questions.
Okay, perfect. And thanks everybody. As I said, I do find that when I get to speak about Warrior, I go well overboard. So thank you, Kieran, for just reminding me on the time. I do want to do one other exercise, okay, one big one. So again, that's just a general warm-up that we've done. So that's the warm-up, okay? That was a gentle warm-up. So I'm going to show you one of the PD Warrior specific core exercises, okay? So bear with me. Okay, so we're going to start with your hands into your chest, okay? Big posture, feet nice and wide as your shoulders. So hands into your chest. Okay, I'm going to come just a bit closer for this one. So I want everybody to just push out their arms, okay? So shoulder height, arms out. Stretch out those hands, okay? And hands back into your chest. Okay, so that was your 2 out of 10 effort. I want to see your 4 out of 10 effort. So push. That's it, that little bit bigger. Well done. Stretch out the fingers, hold it, and pull back in. Okay, that was better. Let's go bigger again. Let's go for our 50%, our 5 out of 10. Okay, looking good. Hold it, stretch further. That's it, and back in. Okay, I want our 80%. Let's go. Push forwards. That's it, hold it. Okay, you're monitoring those fingers. I can see some small hand movements there. I want to see huge big ones. That's it, and snap back in. Okay, one more. Out big. Hold it. Stretch it, and in big. Lovely. Okay, so you should be getting a little bit under pressure there. Okay, so that's the first part of the exercise. The second part is your squat. So this exercise is called stop and squat, or squat and stop. So if you've done a squat before, it's just that combined with the arms, okay, and your snap back up. So when you're looking at to squat, okay, you want to do this in front of a chair, okay, feet about hip width apart, okay, and the big part here is you want to sit back. So you're going to sit back rather than just push your knees forward, okay? So even if you haven't done one before, just imagine like you're about to sit on the chair and then you change your mind, okay? So we're going to do hands into our chest, big posture, chest up, chest lifted, okay? And then let's squat. Power out those arms, okay? As high as your shoulders. Check and see, are they equal? Okay, are they stretched? Fingers wide, and then you're going to snap back up. Okay, that was a good warm-up one. Okay, let's go again. Hands into your chest and squat. Fingers wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Snap back up. Okay, so check yourself. How much effort was that? Okay, if it was your 2, ramp it up. What can you do bigger? Can you push your arms faster? Can you stretch your fingers wider? Okay? And again, all these things then help with your writing, with your combing your hair, with cutting up your food, by stretching on your hands, by working your arms. Okay, we're going to go for 2 more good ones, and then we're just done. Okay, hands into your chest. big posture, and squat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up. That's it, and last one. Squat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up. Lovely, good work everybody. Okay, so hopefully you got an idea as to how much effort is required, okay? But you've just had an introduction. So even if you want to sit, that's fine, okay? Even just sit, just roll your shoulders out, okay? Just a quick couple of shoulder rolls and forwards. That's it, and then you can just turn and look over your chair, look over your shoulder, or look over the back of the chair. Okay, same on the other side. Lovely, and the last couple of big deep breaths in. So take a deep breath in as you reach your arms up to the ceiling, and then breathe out as you push down in front. That's it, we're going to go for 2 more big deep breaths in. That's it, and out as you push down. And last one, deep breath in. And out. Lovely, good work everybody. Hopefully you got an idea of just some of the things we look at in the classes.